Here it is, boys. The final look at the stock body Subaru. So by the title of this video, you already know what's going down. Today we are cutting up my car and officially making it wider than that. If you guys missed the last couple videos, we've kind of been mocking up the set, and tonight is finally the night that we're going to be cutting up the car and getting the wide body ready for putting it on. It was super last minute that we actually decided to do this tonight. We kind of planned it, but I was procrastinating with getting like the hardware and stuff. Didn't know it was super hard to find hardware for the wide body kit, but it happened. We have our stuff tonight, at least like a temporary hold. That's the same essential hardware that we're gonna have on the car, but I actually borrowed them from Jeff. The hardware is actually a different color, the old theme of his Subaru, so once we have the hardware on, you see what I'm talking about. They're like teal, so they're not gonna stay like that. It's just for about a week until my hardware shows up. But let's get the car inside prepped and ready to chop this thing up. Let's do one last feature of the car with stock body. First side is taped up.
Getting there.
Also stepped outside to get away from the grinding noise. This is our hardware that we have right now. That's what I was explaining earlier with the teal color. There's only 18 of these as well. We need 20, so we're gonna be too short, which means one side is, actually, we're not gonna be too short because if we don't do the front pieces tonight, then we have everything ready. But this is what we're gonna use until, I think it's gonna be 4-day shipping for the other pieces to come in, but this is what we got for now.
Or much below. As long as like, I would probably do like maybe like ½ inch. Maybe a little less. Hey everyone, this is Jordan. Welcome to Jackass.
What is this called though? You got a name?
Your car up real quick. Sunday!
We're sending him, bro.
Woohoo!
It's already through.
Is that hole number 1?
Or two.
2?
We're all the way.
All the way? That's all of them?
I think I need
a little late to the party, but what's going on? This is one of many videos that we're going to be doing for this fender flare job, I'd assume, unless we get it all done tonight. But I'm excited because you guys are going to be seeing more of this when I do it to my car, or if I just like fix my rust. But so we're getting to the point where we're going to start doing some riv nuts. These are the riv nuts we're using. Let's get them under some nice light. Oh god, there it is. Riv nut. That's what's going to be going into the car. Got that.
Don't ever put your nuts in my face.
Hi, welcome back to Wicked Street Media. I put one of my riv nuts up in my door because I drilled too big of a hole, because I tried to compare the drill bit to the riv nut and I guess too big. This one seems like a little bit small. So what we did is we just took an extra piece of plastic, just drilled through it just to make sure. So this is actually the 3rd drill bit we've tried, which is the right one. So we tried 3 prior. This is like a perfect fit. So we always try to just test on some extra material because it's better to test on this than on the door.
Or we could test on the glass.
Just some good information.
Engine musty. Why is that looking musty? There's a mark on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Test it on the line, but
Are you ready?
the pothole will like pull it towards the center.
Come on, bro. You can do it. There it is. Send it.
pulling these back so the riv nuts do not pull the tape in with it.
Okay.
So it's metal on riv nut.
Alright, we're live.
We are riv nutting today. Just riv.
You ready to nut?
Meat nut.
Nut.
Nut. Can we get one of those buttons?
Expand nut.
Buttons?
Yeah.
I don't know what button this
As
is.
you get closer, you're gonna use both hands.
Send it, bro.
Nut button.
Nut.
Sound effects right as soon as it pops. Rip it right back out.
If it's tough, if you squeeze the handle a little bit, it should be easier.
Wow, would you just...
Look at that.
Woo, let me just... Yeah, dude.
You notice we have this washer on here, and that's actually not part of the kit, but we kind of threw it on there for the riv nut to get an extra bite. So once you push it in, it kind of needs more room to pull itself down, if that makes sense. So it won't come with this, but if you have one, just toss it on.
Dude, this blue and yellow looks like freaking rally team, dude.
Dude, those riv nuts are nice.
I know. The other style of this was like the Downstar hardware. This is what we were talking about yesterday. Is like their inserts are removable and they're rubber.
Okay.
So like, I was like, no, I don't know if I want to put rubber in there and have it like fall out. So this is like military grade. You know?
Oh, military grade.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the riv nuts will actually kind of strip themselves, which kind of sucks, but you're relying on the threads while it's going in to be able to hold it. So say that they were like aluminum riv nuts where the metal's much softer, it could pull those out. So you're just gonna have to re-tap some of these holes, which you're now an expert of this because you do that in your car, like video.
I did it once.
Yeah, well either way, the concept.
It was pretty easy.
Basically we're just re-threading it. We got lucky, all the other ones went good. Jeff said his car, he had to do multiple of them, so hopefully we only have to do like couple of them on my car. We're using M5.8 hardware.
First flare is going on. Jordan was just threading in all the hardware.
So I wasn't really filming because he was like taking a while to like get it on there. But he's threading it all in now. It's looking mad tight, bro. Real good, bro.
Wicked as skid it.
Dude, are we there? Is this it? Is this the moment of truth?
I mean, after we cut it.
Oh, okay.
You can cut as much as you want to like. I'd say like the
chop that bitch out.
the do not cut above spot would probably be like there-ish. I just cut as much of that shit out as you can. You'll see too, like once we get over here, if you see it like rotten.
Alright, welcome back to day 2 of doing the flares. So, as you can see, I've already kind of gotten started. I'm nasty right now. Just finished up trimming this side. Remember that huge post that was kind of sticking out right there? I got that cut down, shaved. All of the top is tucked in. Also trimmed up the front just a little bit more, just to fit the wheel in case there were to be any rubbing. So, if you look at it from back here, it kind of goes up and around, and then back down and up here, and it comes back around, and then they come back to the same point right there. So what I'm trying to do tonight is kind of just perfect this one side. I might move on to doing either the front or rear. I'm just here at the shop by myself tonight. Also, we have to put the epoxy on the inside so that no water or any debris gets shot up inside of the car, which is why we cut those kind of fins and like folded them up. But other than that, we're looking good, and hopefully we can let this stuff dry overnight and then just throw the fender flare on, and then this side is technically done, and then we're going to be painting them to match the blue, I think towards the end of the week. Also, if you remember, there used to be primer that went all the way pretty much up to the gas tank cap. That is no longer, except for that little bit right there. We polished that off, got it off. So one thing I was worried about was when we put the flares back on, where I had that primer, it was actually sitting a little bit above where the fender flare is going to be sitting. So I was worried that I was going to have to go get it blended back down so you wouldn't see that little bit of primer on the top. But we got it off, so don't have to do that. And then we polished it out and looks good. So let's go ahead and button up this side, and then we can move on to another side. And welcome to day 3. So this side is completely done. We let the epoxy, I don't even know if I showed you guys this last night, I was really tired. Got this whole thing filled in with 2-part epoxy, and now I'm just peeling the tape line that I had up here to mask it off. And then this side's done, and then we can bolt on the flare, and then it gets painted later, and then we're done. 3 more sides to go. Alright, here's pretty much the first one almost done, besides getting painted. So here's our new line right here that we're going to be cutting out. Obviously, goodbye. And then falls all the way down, comes down to right there, and flat over in to give us some more room. Raise the car up just a little bit to give myself a little more clearance. Alright, this side is now done. You can see how much more like clearance we have. And this fender liner I'm going to keep in, and maybe I could even trim the fender liner. Not that that's such a big deal right now. But yeah, it turned out really good. Once again, stoked with my cut job. I think I did a pretty good job. Cut it down in right over there. I didn't know I was going to be decent at this. I think I did a pretty good job. I've seen a lot of cars where they're like crooked up and down, and I was like, I'm going to take my time and actually make it look good even underneath the car where no one's really going to see it, but I want to do it for my own personal, like, trying to be as best as we possibly can. So there it is. We only have 2 more sides to cut after this, and then we are on to painting the fenders, which the paint booth is actually right there, so that'll be super easy. We actually have the paint too, so if you don't know, the 2000, I think it's in here, it's somewhere in there. The older model Subarus, the World Rally Blue, is actually a different blue than the 15 Plus Subarus. The code for the older Subarus is O2C. I'm not sure what the newer one is, but I know they're different. So just make sure you do that. Don't buy the O2C if you have like a 15 Plus. Literally the hardest part about this is just trimming the flares to make them fit perfect. Like I spent almost probably 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, just trimming that front one, trying to make it better. I think I'm not the best at making that look perfect, but I tried to take my time once again with that and then make it look as good as possible. The back portion I also was trimming for a while. It's a little bit more difficult than the front. This is going a lot better than I thought it was going to. I was kind of nervous to do this by myself up front, but I have a bunch of people around me helping me through this, and it kind of sounds like something sad. We're stoked, this is good. Now I gotta put the epoxy on the inside of that so that fender doesn't rust. I went back and trimmed up the plastic as well. Used to have like that lip that comes up. Now it's nice and clear, and then if I ever need to come back and cut it, I can just take 2 seconds and cut it. Like this was like butter cutting compared to the metal. And on to day 3, 4, I don't know what this is. I think it's day 4. We actually got the spacers in this morning. I ordered 25 mil spacers, equivalent of 1 inch. So I tossed it on the front, and it still needs to come out a good amount compared to that top over there. And I threw one on the rear too. The rear isn't as bad as the front. You might need like 1 more 5 mil spacer for the rear, and then the front definitely needs a good amount more. I'm gonna double up the spacer and just see what it looks like with 2 inch. Alright, so this is 2 1-inch spacers, so equivalent of 2. Obviously I'm not going to run it like this. I just want to test fit to see how much more of a spacer I'm going to need or what else needs to be going on. So I can't actually even put this all the way on the ground because the studs from the other spacer stick out too far. So I'm going to have to like drop it down and not actually put it like fully on the ground, but we can at least see where it's sitting. as far as fitment compared to the new flare. Kind of weird because the wheel sits so far out from brake setup now. Like, it looks really weird, but all right. Let's drop it down a little bit and see how it fits. Well, I mean, that's better, but I can't really put it on the ground. And the camber is like insane with, like, look at that. Yeah, can't really even put it on the ground. It is currently midnight, day 4. I finally have the rear cut up. We got that trimmed up earlier. I remember this was the more rusty side, so I'm glad we're just chopping that right out. I'm giving her a new fender. All I can say from this experience is that I'm taking my time with it, and I want it to be as perfect as possible. Also just learning as much as I can along the process of doing this. Would I do it again? Totally. I don't think it's like too hard of a thing. You just have to take your time with it. So if you're not a patient person, this is probably not a job for you, but I'm trying to be patient myself and kind of take my time. The plan is to come back in the morning, finish up. I'm going to finish up by chopping this off and then probably sealing this up with the epoxy in the morning, unless I somehow find the strength to do it at almost 12:30 at night. But we're still going. This side is easier than the last one now that I know what I'm doing and know what I'm looking for. Let's keep going. Alright, it is hopefully the last day. It's Saturday now, starting early in the morning instead of nighttime, so we're getting this thing done today no matter what. So all we have to do in the rear, like I said last night, is chop off the back little brace right there, then cut our flaps, fold them up, and then put the epoxy in there, and then that side is done. And then we just have to complete the front on this side, which I haven't really done anything except for draw the line. So today's the day we finish, and then after this all we have to do is paint, and then they go back on the car and then we're done. Only other thing I think of that we could do after that is we could adjust the ride height on the car, and also I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do about the spacers because they don't completely fill out the flares like I want them to, but they do look better than what they did before. So this is what we're working with right now. It's like, I'm up here, there's a decent amount of space, and then if we were to lower it, it would tuck it in even more, which is not what we want. So I might need another small spacer to go on that just for the time being. But yeah, the rear doesn't look as terrible. It's actually pretty flush. Could come down just a little bit. What I'm doing after I cut the entire inside of it is I'm gonna go back with this bit right here and just kind of clean up the edges so it's not like super sharp. So if your tire were to somehow reach up there and hit that, it's not going to slice right into it. You're going to have a nice flat side rather than it comes to a point when you cut it. So I'm coming back and just kind of cleaning up. It just looks nicer too because you get all these like shards of metal that kind of like stick down, so clean it back up in order to put that glue up there is much better.
Alright guys, so it's about that time. Jordan has finished sealing off the wheel well. This is a little bright.
You want to explain? You finished sealing off that wheel well, what we're going to put the wheel on. You feeling okay?
Yeah, is today day 5?
I don't know.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today's day 5. Got this backside sealed up. Time to put the wheel back on. I do have the spacer on there, and then we'll throw the kit on. We'll actually have to peel the tape. Underneath, right around here, there's still primer left over. So what we're gonna do is take some of this guy right here and rub it lightly until it starts peeling off, and then we'll take our polisher and polish it out because it'll get kind of like hazy. But we did the other side, and come with me. It turned out great. Before you could see some primer that was up into here, but that is no longer. And then after we're done with the entire kit, like I said, we just have to paint it. We already have the paint here, and then we're done. And the car looks sick, and then we do a sick reveal video, and then I gotta find some new wheels for this coming season or something, but looks sick though.
This is the final one. The last fender. Finally being cut. And that's it. You gotta seal it up. Smooth out those edges. Oh.
at that.
Wow.
I'm actually hiring just for this part of your flare install, so hit me up. I kind of went sharp on that. This one I went a little longer, and like you can see, like that looks more professional than that. But either way, looks good. Next comes trimming the plastic. That takes literally 2 seconds. You just slice it like butter. Well, this is it. We've completed the car. Besides paint, we've completed the kit. So I'm gonna take it for its first drive. Since then, I'm gonna take it home tonight because I'm gonna be driving it about an hour away tomorrow. I want to take this out and get some pictures with the fenders white before they actually get painted because I want to get like a halfway done type of picture. So let's take it out for a drive and hopefully everything's okay. Not sure why, but I'm a little nervous right now. I don't know why. Nothing's really like actually changed with the car's height or anything. Just added the flares. So I don't know why I'm nervous, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't started it in like a week, so. First time it's gonna see daylight in a while. Well, that didn't last long. Pretty sure the camera got it, or at least heard it. Started rubbing as I started turning the wheel. Somewhere. Oh, down here. Yeah, probably gonna have to trim a little bit of that. Well, this kind of sucks. You can see where it's like about to touch, like pretty much just touching. At least got to take a picture while it's out, you know. And about an hour later, I trimmed up the inside of both of the fender wells. Not the fender wells, but you know what I mean. Trimmed up inside of here, right at the bottom. Let's see if you can tell, right? So I trimmed all the way up to about here, cut straight across, and then shaved that inside down so it actually can fit while turning. And then I had to do the same on the other side. The other side wasn't as bad. I didn't have to do as much. You can see a little bit on the inside. Once you come to the outside here, you can't even tell. It's only on the inside where you can see that line kind of go in. So both sides are now clear. I'm gonna go drive it. Sadly, it's dark now. I wanted to get the car out while it was still daylight out, but we always can do that tomorrow. I guess you saw it pull out anyways, but really want to take some pictures of this thing halfway done before it actually gets painted and all together. I kind of want to post like a picture like halfway done type of look. But yeah, I'm gonna go drive this and then I guess I'll pick the camera back up if we have any more rubbing issues, but I think we're gonna be a-okay. Just gonna take it slow while going pretty much to full lock like in parking lots, which is pretty much the only place you'd be doing that. But other than that, let's go for a drive and see if it has any issues. After we went for the drive, there was no rubbing issues anymore. Trimmed it down perfectly to where it won't rub no matter how much you turn. Thank you guys for watching the long video of wide bodying the car. Make sure you come back next time to see when the fenders are painted or whatever else is going on next. If you guys don't follow us on social media, go follow us across all platforms, just Wicked Street Media, and then we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.